All right, everybody, welcome to an impromptu live stream, the Fantasy Sports Boss. It is Thursday, August 24th. We have the Steelers, and I believe it's the Falcons tonight, opening up the dreaded preseason week three, where historically some really bad injuries, season-ending injuries have derailed those fantasy teams that have been drafting already. Fingers crossed. But of course, we got some bad news today out of Denver with Jerry Jeudy. Going to touch on that, a couple of other things. Also going to discuss my draft, which is tonight at around 7 o'clock p.m. And I'm stressing over it. I've never gone back and forth more times on certain players in my draft spot, 8th overall in a 12-team PPR league than I have with this one. It's driving me crazy. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, hit that notification button because I just decided on a whim to do the live stream. Haven't done one in a really long time. So that, if you have that notification bell hit, when I come on live. And, like I said, things are going to get real hot and heavy in here the next couple of weeks with the season starting. Lots of live streams. I know they've been few and far between so far. It's been mostly the podcast, but a lot of live streams coming up when the season begins. Always a Football Friday live stream, always a Sunday morning live stream, a Sunday evening wrap-up stream, plus the Fantasy Cast on Thursday where we watch the first half of the Thursday games together and discuss what's taking place. So make sure you have that subscribe button hit. Now, big news of the day, Jerry Jeudy. So, this is the kind of stuff. And the ironic thing is, obviously, it didn't happen in the game. He's going to miss several weeks. I'm just reading this now with a moderate hamstring injury suffered today in practice. Week 1 in question, optimism that it's nothing long-term. So that was from Ian Rappaport talking about Jerry Jeudy. And that's a big one. That is a big one because Jerry Judy's been a popular a sleeper, if you want to call him that. His ADP has steadily risen since May. And I, for one, was intrigued by Jerry Jeudy. But now for my draft tonight, he's on my do not draft list unless he falls really far. Now, the flip side to this is there's now a buying opportunity with Marvin Mims. And I think Courtland Sutton is pretty shot. I know there's some Courtland Sutton truthers out there that I've been debating with over the months. I think he's shot. I put him right there with the Kenny Galladay's, Allen Robinsons, the guys who don't have good speed to begin with and who win on contested balls. When they lose a step from that moderate speed they already have, then they become complete dog shit overnight. And that's what I think Courtland Sutton is heading towards, where Allen Robinson and Kenny Galladay currently are. I don't even think Kenny Galladay signed with anybody. But now Marvin Mims becomes intriguing, all right? So Marvin Mims is going to get an opportunity now. Tim Patrick has a torn ACL. He's done for the season. So, Denver, KJ Hamler, same thing. So now we have some receiver issues. And also, don't sleep on Greg Dulcich. I know that his usage hasn't been very fantasy-friendly. Or it's been hard to get optimistic about Dulcich because the way he's been used in preseason so far. But out of necessity now, we might see more Dulcich packages, snaps, whatever, what have you, to get him on the field because now they're lacking targets for Russell Wilson. I'm really not chasing anybody in this offense. Marvin Mims now intrigues me as a late round lottery throw just because of the opportunity he's going to get. With all the injuries, and man, the injuries have been devastating. And you wonder, is Sean Payton, he's an old school coach. Is he riding the team a little hard in practice? I mean, I don't know. I know certainly Sean Payton likes to give his opinion on everything. So fair is fair. We can give our opinion on his coaching and his methods. And that's valid for sure. But yeah, so Jerry Jeudy, this is big. And we've had some receiver injuries of late. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the Seattle rookie with a broken wrist. He's going to miss week 1, maybe a little bit more time than that. Terry McLaurin is banged up. We had Corey Davis retire from the Jets, and that was, he's only 28 years old. That was a little surprising to me, but the writing was on the wall. The Jets wanted him to take a pay cut. So, Davis, I guess maybe his heart wasn't in it anymore. And he was a very early first-round pick that really never panned out with Tennessee. I believe he was a 4th overall pick in his draft class that year when he came out, Corey Davis. So it just never really took off for him with Tennessee. So he's off into retirement. Allen Lazard is banged up with a shoulder, although he's going to be ready for week 1. So a lot of receiver tumult, if you will. Now, the other big story, of course, is Jonathan Taylor. The deadline is Tuesday for him to find a new team. Adam Schefter has said 6 teams have inquired. 2 have made offers. 1 made an offer you can almost be sure is Miami. The Miami Dolphins continue to kick the tires on Jonathan Taylor. For me, what do I think is going to happen? I think it's 50-50. I think Taylor is this, is the damage just too far, too extensive rather to repair? I think it might be. But given this running back market, teams are just not willing to pony up. I mean, if Austin Eckler coming off two out of this world seasons, given permission by the Chargers to get a trade, to find a trade partner, if he couldn't find anybody, I know Taylor's a little bit younger, but he's had a lot of, work, a lot of high workloads, a lot of touches going back to his days in college. I'm not sure if anything's going to pan out here. Now, the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles have been rumored as teams that have inquired about this, and that's scary for both of those teams. If either one of them ends up with Jonathan Taylor talking about the Bills and the Eagles, that's really scary for the entire NFL. And, the Eagles, too, that's another situation that's very unsettled as we go into these final preseason games. Is it Kenneth Gainwell? Is he going to be the guy? The Philadelphia beat reporters have unequivocally said that Gainwell is going to be the guy, with DeAndre Swift sprinkled in as the third down back. Rashad Penny not looking like he'll make this team. Boston Scott may not either. Trey Sermon is there. That is a very crowded backfield that I'm just not interested in. And I put that with the Miami backfield as well, with Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, Salvon Ahmed, Myles Gaskin. Now you add possibly Jonathan Taylor on top of that. And then that would leave a huge hole in Indianapolis. Who's the starting running back? I mean, Evan Null, are we really going to do this if you're Indianapolis with a rookie quarterback? I mean, that's almost malpractice if you ask me. I just don't understand that, how you could do that to Anthony Richardson, not give him, sign Kareem Hunt. I mean, apparently, I guess Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette have not impressed anybody really when it came to their workouts. There was the chatter that he had gotten an offer from the Saints, and turned it down. Not sure what happened there, but both of these guys are still languishing there on the free agent market. So, we got to just see what happens there. Yes. So, and tonight, like I told you guys, I have my second draft, and I only have two teams. I'm not one of these guys, like I said on the podcast yesterday, I don't have all these, dozens and dozens of teams, but I have the 8th pick in the draft. And I have to tell you, and this is a 12-team PPR league, the 8th sucks. It really does. And I've said this many times. I either want it to be in the top 2, top 4 maybe, or the 10, 11, 12 spot. Anywhere in the middle of the first round is like a dead zone to me. I don't want Cooper Kupp. I don't want what's his name? Tyreek Hill, because I'd rather have Jalen Waddle, who's cheaper, attached to a very fragile Tua Tagovailoa. Bijan Robinson at 8 overall, answering Randy's question. Yeah, he's very intriguing, but he's a rookie running back. And how many opportunities is he going to have to score touchdowns on what figures to be a struggling passing attack with a Desmond Ridder being brought in, who's had accuracy issues going back to college? Saquon Barkley, he's in the conversation for me now. And yes, I'm a Giant fan, and that's part of it, I guess. I have blinders on when it comes to him. Like I said, I don't want Cooper Kupp. It's, Travis Kelce. I've gotten intel that he's going to go before my pick at 8, so he's not going to be there for me. Eckler, McCaffrey, Jefferson, Chase will all be gone by then. So this is tough. Stephon Diggs. I mean, I'm really not enamored with Stephon Diggs. I've had Stephon Diggs the last couple of years. It's been good. He was downright dog shit in the fantasy playoffs last year. So that was kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. He's distracted. He's butting heads with the team. He's butting heads with Josh Allen. They're going to run the ball more in Buffalo this year. I'm just not, I wouldn't be excited to make any of those picks. I just wouldn't. CeeDee Lamb, I like CeeDee Lamb, but that's too early. But I also have concerns about Brandon Cooks, about Mike McCarthy and running the ball a little bit too much. So Byron's got the 8th also. I mean, guys, you have to agree with me, right? I mean, 8th just absolutely sucks. I've been trying to trade out of the 8th spot. I've had no takers. I was trying to trade to the 12th spot because then I could take an A.J. Brown and an Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was really strongly considering doing Amon-Ra St. Brown at 8th overall. Now, I know that's early, but I really like him. And obviously, nobody can quibble with the amount of targets he's going to get this year. The touchdowns haven't been plentiful. Is he Keenan Allen 2.0? I don't know. We will find out this season if St. Brown winds up scoring more touchdowns. You could say there's no target competition, but defenses can then double team him. So that's like a catch-22. It could go either way there. Yeah, Randy. I mean, Amon-Ra is definitely a consideration. I think ultimately, if you put a gun to my head, Saquon Barkley is probably going to be the pick there. Because then in round 2, when it comes back, I'm hoping there is a chance Amon-Ra will be there when it comes back to me in round 2, early in the second round. AJ Brown, I'm hoping. I mean, I might even still take Davante Adams at that point. I know I've really kind of hated on Davante Adams as well, because you just know Jimmy Garoppolo is going to miss time. And Brian Hoyer, I believe, is the backup. And he's not terrible for a backup. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Randy was in it for me too. But I just happened to find a clip with Matthew Berry talking about CeeDee Lamb and talking about the Dallas offense. And it was kind of compelling because he made some really good points that I agree with. I don't always agree with Matthew Berry. And let's face it, he's the fantasy GOAT who's made a living doing this. We all strive to be what Matthew Berry is, no doubt about it. I mean, hell, he was even in Avengers, for Christ's sake. But, so he made a good point in that Mike McCarthy taking over, and I have said this as well, is a bad thing for Dallas because he's a run-heavy guy. He's going to slow the pace down. Dallas has played at a very fast pace under the previous offensive coordinator. I'm drawing a blank now off the top of my head. The former Boise State quarterback. I can't remember his name. Somebody help me out. That has been the case. They played at a very fast pace, piling up the plays, the opportunities for CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Kellen Moore, thank you, and Ezekiel Elliott. So now they're going to slow it down. And they have a good defense, Dallas. They have a very good defense. They're a top 10 defense, no doubt. So they may not be in a lot of shootouts this year. They might be running the ball, especially running the ball in the second half. Brandon Cooks arrives. CeeDee Lamb also, if you look at it, he was not targeted heavily around the red zone last year. I think he only had 5 targets, which is not a lot. And that's scary. I know Dalton Schultz is no longer in town. Maybe that changes for the better. But at 8 overall, I just can't pull the trigger on CeeDee Lamb there. I just can't. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still in the discussion, but here's my problem with that. I like David Montgomery as a value running back. I like Jahmyr Gibbs possibly in round 3. I'd rather have him in round 4. If I take St. Brown, I'm out on both of those running backs because I don't want both of those. I don't want the receiver and the running back from the same team. So that hurts my draft flexibility going forward. It's a hard decision at number 8 for sure. Jackson, that is brutal. Judy in round 4. That's 14 teamer. That makes sense. I would, in a 12 team that would be high, but man, that's tough. I mean, that's why you want to draft. And listen, I'm drafting tonight. It was the only date we could all agree on. And listen, in-person drafts are the best. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I hate Yahoo Online or CBS or whatever online drafts. I think they're very impersonal. They suck. They're just, we're all wearing throwback jerseys tonight. I'm wearing my Carolina Panthers Steve Berline jersey. I'm so proud of that jersey. I love it. I love Steve Berline back in the day. I thought he was great. So we're wearing obscure jerseys tonight. It was either that or Mark Brunell when he was with the Jaguars, although Brunell was really good with that team. So I'm going with Steve Berline. I have a Brett Favre Minnesota Vikings one as well because Brett Favre was my all-time favorite player. Hands down, there was nobody that I liked more than Brett Favre when it came to football. But yeah, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do still, and it's 5:30 and the draft is in an hour and a half. So, and yes, I know about that stat about Amon-Ra being tackled inside the 5. But, he also could be double teamed, guys. Let's face it, especially if he's in the slot. You could shade an extra defender to the slot and really box him in there. So that's a little worrisome for me. Now, I do coach high school football, so I tend to think of the game a little bit strategically. And I coach wide receivers, believe it or not. And how ironic. But so I don't know. And Cooper Kupp. So that, Cooper Kupp might be there for me at 8, but I don't want Cooper Kupp. He's had 2 serious injuries the last 4 years. His offensive line sucks. This whole team sucks. It really does. I know they're going to be in a lot of catch-up mode in the second half, but Matthew Stafford is the ultimate sitting duck quarterback. I mean, he can't move. I mean, defense is going to tee off on him. This offensive line is complete shit, and he's going to be out. He's going to be knocked silly, I think, by week 5. And then you have Stetson Bennett coming in. I mean, no thank you. So, and there might even be a situation where the Rams have 2 wins in December and they sit Cooper Kupp down. That is something that you have to think about as well. He's 30 years old. He's already had a hamstring injury. I can't do it even at 8. You think Judy will play week 1? No, I don't think he's there week 1 or week 2, John. I hate to say it. 12-team PPR. Fifth pick, should I go St. Brown or Tyreek Hill or Eckler? Not St. Brown, Plumsky. That's too early. I would go Tyreek Hill. I still have Tyreek Hill ahead of him. So, and that's the thing. If Tyreek Hill falls to me at 8, I think I'm going to do that over Barkley. I'm not excited about, and you all know I hate drafting running backs in round 1. I absolutely hate it. I don't want to do it. I might be forced to, just because that's just the way things are unfolding in this draft. I'm not going to get Kelce. I know he's going earlier in this draft just from talking to people in the league. Yeah, week 5 to 6 is possible, Randy. Maybe week 4 if we're lucky with Jerry Jeudy. But yeah, so I Saquon Barkley, Jesus, I'm going to do this. I can't believe this. The reason why I'm not going Amon-Ra St. Brown, because I think there's a chance he will fall to me in round 2. Now, it's a gamble. It's not good draft capital, I think, to use Amon-Ra St. Brown at number 8 overall. I'm not comfortable with that. And in a 12-team league, taking a quarterback or a tight end early is a little more problematic than it is in a 10-team league. In that 10-team league where I drafted Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round. So, and that's the other thing. I don't want the same players on that one league I've already drafted on this league. I want, unless it's Darren Waller. I told you at tight end I would make an exception, but I'm going to try to diversify as much as I can. Let's go Colts. Yeah, you know what? Fantasy Football Girl, they're not doing their rookie quarterback any favors with this Jonathan Taylor nonsense. Take Bijan at 8, guaranteed 283. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Eddie. I've been burned with the rookie running backs. I was a CEH guy, a number of years ago when that happened. I know he's a generational talent, and I know Saquon Barkley was unbelievable as a rookie, and that's what has me intrigued with Bijan Robinson. But man, I mean, and this is a work league, so if I really blow this, and they know I do this on the side, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So I want to make as safe a pick as possible. So, I just don't want to hear the shit that I'm going to get if I blow it with this 1st round pick. What about hockey? Worried about him? Hawkinson. No. I'm not worried about Hawkinson at all. He's been pretty durable overall. What I will say about him is he's not a big touchdown guy. I think Jordan Addison is going to be taking a lot of those Adam Thielen red zone looks. So, and I do think Hawkinson, Kittle, Pitts, and Goddard are all vastly overpriced. It's either for me, Kelce, Waller, or Freiermuth. That's how I have it, and that's 3 different junctures at a draft. It's either 1st round for Kelce, 5th round for Waller, or like 7 or 8 for Freiermuth. And failing to get those 3, then it's just stream it out, see what happens. I'm dying on Amon-Ra Hill this year. He'll be listen, it's not a bad hill to die on. Not a bad hill to die on for sure. Yeah, there's no safe pick. Bijan, I really gave it a lot of thought for sure. I just don't like this offense. I don't like Desmond Ridder. I've been consistent with that all along. Like I said, I've gone back and forth on all this. It would have been real simple if Travis Kelce was there, but he's not going to be. So I'm going to have to go Saquon Barkley. I'm just checking some of the other news. Cole Kmet is okay now. He's back from his injury. He returned to practice today. We talked about Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, nothing else really happening here. Kendrick Miller had a laceration. He's okay. Yeah. So listen, we got to get through this week. We have to get through this week with no injuries to key guys. If I draft Bijan Robinson, would it be good to draft Tyler Algier? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You always want to do that if you can, and that's the thing too. If I draft Saquon Barkley, I'm not drafting Matt Breida. I'm not drafting Eric Gray. So I'm kind of handcuffing myself there because I'm not going to get the handcuff. Bijan Robinson has a good handcuff. Najee Harris has a good handcuff. All right. Kenneth Walker. Now, I've taken a lot of crap on Kenneth Walker. Let me bring up Kenneth Walker real quick. All right. So somebody said, I don't know if it's somebody in here. Somebody said it was my worst take yet when I said yesterday in yesterday's podcast that I'm out, excuse me, on Kenneth Walker. I have no shares of him. And yes, I did say that. Is it controversial? I don't know. I don't think so. I just don't like Kenneth Walker. I have a lot of issues with his injuries. He was a 1-year guy in college, injuries in college, injuries already in the NFL. He has an upright running style, which leads to big hits. He does not catch the football. All right. So, he wore it down as the season went on last year. So he's a limited player. And in a PPR league, that's not, to me, a smart investment in the third or fourth round. I think the kid from UCLA who is behind him is going to be the guy. He's going to be an every week starter if Walker gets hurt. And Pete Carroll has done nothing but gush about him. They drafted him in the second round this past April for a reason. They're going to use him in tandem with Kenneth Walker. And then you have the fact you have three stud receivers in this passing offense. I'm not going to miss Kenneth Walker at all. If he beats my projection, he has a huge season. Good for you. Salute. I'll be the first to stand up and say I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be. Falcons ran the ball 560 times. Bijan will get 280 to 300 touches. Yeah. Now you guys got me thinking about Bijan Robinson. God damn it. Oh man. Barkley's schedule is brutal. Let me look at the Giants schedule, actually. I've heard this. Let me see what their schedule is. Jonathan Taylor might get traded to the Dolphins. Will he be a first-round pick? No. I think he's a second-round pick, early second-round pick, no matter what, wherever he ends up. Listen, he's not going to catch the ball much. If he goes back to Indy, for sure. He's not the best receiver, and if he's with a running quarterback, in Indy, he's not going to, Anthony Richardson is going to take a lot of those touchdowns away from him. And he also, he's still already dealing with injuries this season. He's not over the ankle issues he had last year. Giants receivers are so bad. I wouldn't say they're so bad, Randy. I actually like what they did. I think Paris Campbell can be pretty good if he stays healthy. Isaiah Hodgins was solid down a stretch last year. Now there's no game breakers. Jalen Hyatt is a work in progress, but Darren Waller is a riddle for defenses as well. Giants defense for fantasy. Now this is coming from a Giants fan, Riley. Yes, they have a lot of talent on this team. The defensive line is really good with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. They have Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau, two young emerging pass rushers on the edge. I think that's very promising. I don't love the linebackers other than the kid they brought in from Indy, who I think is great. The other two, not so much. The secondary is good. Xavier McKinney's a ball hawk. Dory Jackson played well last year, so I do think that is a good defense. Yes. How do you feel about Michael Thomas and Pickens? I like Michael Thomas, not so much Pickens. I really trying to stay away from the Steelers offense. Michael Thomas cannot stay healthy, but he's really just like a 10th round pick anyway. So, and I'm a sucker for Michael Thomas, 100%. All right. The Giants schedule. Let me look at that right now. All right. So they open up obviously with Dallas. Then they have Arizona. That's a cupcake, week 2. Then they have San Francisco. That's pretty rough. And on Thursday night, no less. Week 3, Seattle, not bad. Miami's defense is okay. Buffalo, Washington, the Jets. Yeah, this isn't a good. New England's on the schedule. New Orleans Saints defense. You all know I love New Orleans. Philadelphia. So they have New Orleans, Philadelphia. Ooh, and the Rams. Well, the Rams I'm not afraid of, even though Aaron Donald's there. That's a rough playoff schedule. They never do well against Philadelphia either. Wow. All right. All right, let me look at the Atlanta schedule. Atlanta, am I really going to do this with Bijan Robinson? I can't even believe I'm even thinking. I know he's got talent. I wrote a glowing report on him in my prospect draft guide. It's not an issue with his talent. It's how is he going to be used, and is this offense going to be able to move the football? Amazing schedule. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal. All right, let's look at the Atlanta schedule. All right, Carolina, right out of the gate. So Bijan's going to have 150 yards week 1. Green Bay, Detroit, Jacksonville, Houston, Washington. Oh, man. Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Minnesota, Arizona. New Orleans, the Jets, it gets tougher at that juncture, but then they're back to Tampa Bay, Carolina, Indy, Chicago. Wow. The fantasy playoffs, Carolina, Indy, and Chicago. Oh, God damn it. My draft is in a little bit more than an hour, and now I'm thinking about Bijan Robinson. Michael Thomas, Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers. Thomas, Flowers, then Johnson. Rachaad White. I think Rachaad White's going to be fine as far as workload. He didn't run the ball well last year, though. He's not going to do a lot. He's not going to supply you a lot of running yardage. I really don't think so. He wasn't good, but he's going to catch a lot of passes. Baker Mayfield is one who likes to dump it off a lot. Simmons trade for the Giants, the safety, not bad. It'll help them. He was a high draft pick, as I recall, out of Clemson. if I remember correctly. Can you stream while you're drafting? No, I can't do that, Randy. I thank you. It's going to be a little raucous. This is work, people. I don't know what kind of language is going to be used. I just, when you're with work people too, like I'd rather keep that off the stream. But I'll definitely let you guys know tomorrow how I do. Oh man. Yeah, it's in person. Bijan Robinson. Now, do you think he could fall to me though in the second round? I don't think so, right? I don't think that's going to happen. Wow. So Saquon Barkley or Bijan Robinson. Now you really got to think about this. Yeah, now he's not going to fall to me in the second round. Oh man. But what about Tyreek Hill or Bijan Robinson? So if Tyreek Hill and Bijan Robinson are there, I might go Tyreek Hill. Are you okay with drafting Kelce about the 7th if Barkley, Bijan are gone? Yeah, I'm all about Kelce in round 1. You guys know that, but he won't be there. I don't know if you caught that in the beginning. I know somebody who's drafting in the 6th spot who's going to take Kelce if he's there. No questions asked. So he's not going to get to me at 8. Then take Algier. Yeah, you know what, Randy? It's not a bad idea just because of the Barkley situation. He does not have a relevant backup that I would want to use in fantasy. So that's not the worst idea in the world. So, it's going to be that's interesting. All right. Yeah. I don't know. So if I go Bijan Robinson in round 1, then maybe I'm hoping that Amon-Ra St. Brown drops to me in round 2. So, yeah, just got to say, San Francisco, number 10. I'm not sure who that is. I tell you what, San Francisco should make Trey Lance like a Taysom Hill. They could use, and I don't know why Kyle Shanahan hasn't already thought of that. Trey Lance could absolutely run the ball really well. So you could, put him in packages that, and maybe he'll be the next guy that'll be like a tight end with quarterback eligibility. So Bijan Amon-Ra. Yeah, Bijan Amon-Ra now is intriguing to me. But I have to tell you guys, I'm not going to be excited to draft Bijan Robinson. I'm never comfortable. Yeah, I have Garrett Wilson on my other team, though, and I don't like doubling up. And now I'm going to be drafting a rookie running back and a second-year wideout. I don't think I would do that. But I do like Garrett Wilson a lot. But I am worried about that offensive line. I'm always nervous about drafting guys sight unseen in the NFL, like Bijan Robinson. So I'm curious, what is his Yahoo, not Yahoo, his ADP. What is the ADP right now as we speak with my draft a little bit more than an hour away? So PPR, right now Bijan Robinson is the 9th player off the board, running back 4. Saquon is the 8th player off the board, running back 3, 8th overall. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is wide receiver 10. 19 overall. So that works. I mean, the math works there. Tony Pollard is not going to fall to me in round 2. I know that already. So we have to see. I think somebody like Bijan, hard to tell. Yeah, I think everybody in here likes Bijan. That's kind of what everybody's telling me to do. All right, what's just happened here? The Cardinals are trading for Browns quarterback Josh Dobbs. Okay. And they just traded. And listen, this has me concerned. They traded one of their linemen today, Arizona. And they're not doing James Conner any favors, that's for sure. And I own Conner in my other league because I went really kind of zero running back in that league. I ended up with Conner, Akers, David Montgomery as my top 3 running backs, which, I don't think is bad because I have stacked wideouts. I have Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, and Justin Jefferson, plus Tyler Lockett at flex. But they're not doing him any favors. They're trading their offensive lineman, the Cardinals. What super flex strategy do you go for? So if super flex, I was in a super flex a couple of years ago. You obviously have to go quarterback round 1, and going quarterback in round 2 is also not a bad idea because those are the 2 highest scoring positions. So you need to get that second quarterback at least in the first 4 rounds. All right, so that's how I always did it. But I don't like super flex leagues. Can't wait to draft Mims and. Yes, I like both. I do like Howell. Listen, he was good at North Carolina, guys. I mean, he was let down his last year because Javonte Williams graduated, because Michael Carter graduated. Diami Brown graduated. The offensive line graduated. He had nobody left. It was a really bad decision for him to go back to school. I don't know. As I recall, he wanted to finish his degree. He had come off a really good junior year where he probably would have been a late first-round pick. Instead, he falls to the 5th round. I think unjust, not fair to him, that kind of a drop. But I'm intrigued by him. I am intrigued with him for sure. You can't wait to take a last place. Last place? All right. Well, hopefully I'm not in last place. I strive to do better than that. I went 1 for 2 in my leagues last year, so I made the playoffs in both. So I'm hoping to do that as well. Marvin Mims season, maybe a little strong, but I think he's going to be good. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Miami. I talked about Miami. Running back. I haven't lost track my train of thought. So Bijan Robinson. Huh, guys? You really think that's what I got to do? I'm thinking about it now. You have me intrigued, Bijan Robinson. I don't trust the quarterback. I don't trust. I'm doing my draft this Sunday 14-team league. I won it last year. 14-team leagues are tough. Ideally, we want to draft after next year. And listen, you just know. Okay, now here's something I just came across. So this is Peter King, who obviously has been around football forever. Fantasy footballers heed Bijan Robinson warning from Peter King. Owners of Kyle Pitts last year are well aware of Arthur Smith's outspoken disdain for fantasy. The Falcons couldn't get Pitts to Baltimore because they wanted it out of Marcus Mariota's hands. All right, so what does this have to do with Robinson? Expected to challenge. However, the Falcons' backfield's crowded. Robinson joins Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier, the latter of which just eclipsed 1,000 yards en route to the franchise rushing rookie record. Peter King's warning: don't select him too high. Be wary of selecting Falcons running back Bijan Robinson too high. Arthur Smith's got a lot of mouths to feed in that Atlanta offense. Okay, well. Listen, I know, don't overthink it. Peter King is as connected as anybody in the entire media industry to the NFL. He's plugged in on everything. Oh man. I just don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. All right, so 22 fantasy bold predictions. Let's see what this guy has to say. I'm sure there's a Bijan Robinson thing in here. Tony Pollard finishes top 3 running back. That could happen. Zay Flowers, top 24 wideout. Calvin Ridley will finish 2023 as one of the top 5 wideouts. Yes, I did say this. Calvin Ridley, if you bet, take him at his odds to lead the NFL in receiving yardage. Who will be this year's Josh Jacobs? Josh Jacobs. That's a good question. Oh, man. It's got to be a good runner. I don't have the guys in front of me. Let me see. Let me look at this right now. Who's going to be this year's Josh Jacobs? That's a really good question. I'm not looking at the board, so it doesn't spoil for me. Not Aaron Jones. I mean, Dameon Pierce is going to get a lot of work, possibly. Dameon Pierce. Yeah. I'm kind of liking Dameon Pierce. I could see that. He caught a lot of passes in Florida. People forget about that. I would have to say that. I mean, Tony Pollard, I think, could be put up to Josh Jacobs kind of numbers if you ask me. All right, let's see. Josh Jacobs. Bijan was drafted top 10. Doesn't happen too often. He's able to use him a lot. J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, possibly. He doesn't catch the ball. That's the problem with J.K. Dobbins. You need to be able to catch the ball to be a Josh Jacobs. Aaron Jones, if something happens to A.J. Dillon, I love Aaron Jones. Absolutely love Aaron Jones. Miles Sanders is getting a lot of hate in the fantasy community. That was one thing that I had noticed as well. Let me get back to those bold predictions. I want to see what they say about Bijan Robinson. Cam Akers could be this year. Yes, that's a good one. Cam Akers could be. Yes, no doubt about it. On a bad team, getting a lot of work. And then here's a bold prediction: Cam Akers ends the year as a top 10 running back. Keenan Allen leads the NFL in receptions. No, I don't think so. Derek Carr will be a top 10 QB. No. Jahmyr Gibbs finishes with more fantasy points than Bijan Robinson. Maybe I don't know about that. Here's another one. Bijan Robinson will not finish as a top 10 running back. A lot of teams are going to lose their league in the first round. Guys, this is not good feedback I'm getting from all these other fantasy guys out there. And this is also assuming the Falcons will have a competent offense. Javonte Williams returns in 2023 and delivers best post-ACL tear season in recent history. That's a big bar to climb with Adrian Peterson's history coming back from that. Christian Watson, top 10 wide receiver. I can see that. Tagovailoa going to be a top 5 QB. If he can stay healthy, Brock Purdy will finish as a top 10 QB. No, he doesn't run enough. Jake Ferguson will finish top 10 tight end. We're just assuming that because of Dalton Schultz. I'm not going to go there. Marquise Brown will finish as a top 15 wideout. That team is a mess. James Cook finishes top 12 running back. That could happen. Breece Hall is a top 5, not with Dalvin Cook. Odell Beckham, top 40 wideout. Strong probability of finishing inside top 30. I don't see it. Yeah, so that's it. Cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to sign off here. I got to get my stuff together for the draft tonight. I don't think I'm going Bijan Robinson. I'm going to give it thought. Right now it's Saquon Barkley, but again, things could change. James, yes, they both are small DH. You're right. And I'm a little out on Gibbs now in the third round because I think David Montgomery is going to get a lot more work than we anticipate. But all right, guys, I'm going to try to do another live stream tomorrow. So hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Wish me luck tonight. I will chat with all of you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.